Welcome to the training, How to Fill Out a Chain of Custody Form, brought to you by the State Environmental Laboratory Services Division. This training will describe how to complete an ad hoc chain of custody. Ad hoc samples are samples collected as needed and typically aren't planned, or the customer has time constraints that prevent contacting the lab beforehand for paperwork. The ad hoc COC can be printed and used at any time. We have copies available in the laboratory, or one can be printed from our website. Pre-logged chain of custody form training and public water supply chain of custody training are described in different training videos. Here are a few reasons that we have updated our previous form: to collect new required information, added features, and design improvements. The chain of custody is a required form for all samples submitted to the laboratory. It tells us necessary information about your samples so that we can process and analyze properly. In order to accept your samples, we need the information on the form. How do you get a chain of custody form? You can print one from our website, have a copy mailed to you after speaking with our laboratory customer service staff, or pick one up from our sample management area located on the first floor of the DEQ building. Here is a completely blank chain of custody form, also known as an ad hoc COC, printed from our website. You will need to fill this out before, during, and after collecting samples. The areas indicated in green will be information that you, the customer or sampler, will need to complete. We will cover these areas in the next few slides. The areas in red are for lab use only. First, fill out the customer information section in the top right corner. Print your first and last name or business name in the customer name field. If you have a description for your project, print it in the project description field. Businesses or customers who submit samples frequently like to use this to tell their sampling events apart. For example, March 2020, resample, loan closing, etc. Next, in the sample information box on top of the sample rows, fill out the collector's name or initials in the sample collection by area. Add a current contact phone number for the collector in case there are any questions about the samples or any missing information on the form. If you have any special collection notes about your samples, please write them in the collection notes area, or you may describe any issues you are having that prompted you to collect samples. For example, if your private well is having taste or odor issues, note that here. As you collect your samples, fill in a line for each container you collect. In the sample address and location box, print the address or general location where you are collecting your sample and print the specific location where you took the sample. For example, 742 Evergreen Terrace, kitchen sink. After you collect your sample, fill in the date and time, circle AM or PM. You can leave the container field blank or describe your container or how many you collected. In the requested analysis box, write in the name of the test you are requesting for that container. Multiple tests can be requested if volume of the sample container allows. You can look at our fee schedule online for analysis names or methods, or call our lab phone number to ask our staff for assistance. If you are mailing your samples, complete the chain of custody portion of your form. Print your name and sign the bottom of the form to relinquish your samples to the laboratory. Add the date and time that you are packaging up your samples. Place the chain of custody and payment for your analysis into the shipping container, preferably in a Ziploc style bag to keep them from getting wet in case your samples leak in transit. Make sure lids are secure, but not so tight as to break the lid. If your samples are required to be stored or shipped on ice, pack them in a cooler or container and fill with ice. Pack samples in a way to protect them from breakage. Glass containers should be wrapped in bubble wrap or plastic. If you have any questions about how to store or ship your samples or the cost of your requested tests, please call the laboratory. If you will be delivering your samples in person to the laboratory, You will print your name and sign the bottom of the form to relinquish your samples to the laboratory when you arrive in our sample management area. The date and time that you are giving your samples to the sample receipt staff is the relinquish time that will be recorded. If you have any questions about how to store and transport your samples or the cost of your requested tests, please call the laboratory.